Okaeri nasai minasan. Today we're gonna talk about Kamen Rider Juuga versus Kamen Rider Orteca Part 1 and also Part 2. Why do they actually split it into two parts? I have no idea, because we are able to watch it both at the same time. So the purpose of splitting them into two parts seems a little bit redundant, I would say, but I am also grateful that we are able to see both of the part immediately, because part 1 doesn't really have anything interesting to talk about, but part 2, that is what the interesting way we actually get to talk about. Okay, but with that being said, let us start off with the big opening scene of this Kamen Rider Juuga versus Kamen Rider Orteca with the Josh Karizaki morning routine video. It is a weird one because I don't know what is going on. Like I already talked about this in the trailer reaction and trailer discussion video about like why do they keep showing Josh Karizaki naked. Okay, like I don't really remember Kamen Rider to be a show where we actually get to see a lot of naked guy moving around, something like that. I know there's quite a lot of like people getting hurt and there's a lot of bandages and all those stuff, but I don't actually see quite a lot of naked body in Kamen Rider itself. So I'm not so sure why do they actually do this. Maybe because Josh Karizaki himself is quite physically fit. Like maybe he's the most fit rider we ever had. I mean, actor wise, okay, like I'm not talking about in the story or something like that, but actor wise, maybe Josh Karizaki has the body, so they really want to show it and do kind of like thirst trap a little bit on the audience a little bit. I'm not so sure, but we also get to see Josh Karizaki is able to squeeze an apple using his hand. That is how do you actually do that? Like, I think it's quite impossible unless you actually boil the apple first to make it soft so that you can squeeze the juice out or something like that. But I'm not so sure. Okay, one thing that I really want to talk about is the driver that they choose to portray in this episode. So this series, we actually get to see a few belt, not all of the belt that we actually saw, but we actually saw a few belt. We get to see Kamen Rider Gaim belt, Kamen Rider O's belt, and then we actually got a really interesting pick. We actually get to see a Agito belt, and then we get to see a W belt. Why this 4 rider belt was being chosen to show on the shelf, I have no idea. Okay, maybe there's a possibility that all of these drivers are man-made, something like that, to kind of like to show that this is a story about a scientist of a genius, something like that. Maybe, or maybe all of this I have, maybe it is also to show that all of this series has a genius in the show itself, because if you really think about it, there's an evil scientist in Gaim, and then there's also someone in Kamen Rider O's who actually designed the system of Kamen Rider Birth. I never actually watched Agito, so I'm not so sure about Agito, but the W driver is man-made. Okay, like they are created by human through the access, through the what am I trying to say, through the ability, through the access of the memory of the library. Okay, they are able to access the library and they got the information there, something like that. So yeah, so maybe this is to kind of show us that all these drivers are man-made, something like that. But really insane stuff. And we actually get to see Josh Karizaki ending his morning routine with a henshin pose in front of the mirror, and I felt like a lot of rider fans is gonna do that as well. Like that you just, when you saw a mirror, you will just want to henshin, do a little bit of henshin pose, something like that. So that is legit what a rider fan would definitely do. Okay, but this is really fun, and I felt like this series, I'm not sure how to actually call it, this movie. I'm just gonna call this movie. Okay, this movie actually happened after everything, after the revised forward Kamen Rider Demons Life and Evil. I think so. Okay, I think this is after all of that, because we actually hear Josh Karizaki said that he has already fixed the body of Hiromi in the part 1 of Kamen Rider Juuga versus Kamen Rider Orteca itself, and he's gonna continue on his project to create a rider system that can be used by all humanity. And after I saw this, it actually made me, I kind of like want to link it to Kamen Rider 5's 20th anniversary, because the driver that Kamen Rider 5 used in the 20th anniversary is, it looks a little bit similar to a driver that has been kind of like teased at us a few years ago, that is gonna be the driver of Zio, where it is able to access kind of like different rider belt, something like that, and we actually get to see Fies using it. So it actually make me wonder whether or not Josh Karizaki has something to do with the upgrade of Kamen Rider Fies or not. But then again, I mean, like, if you actually pay close attention to how he actually carry the Juuga driver all over the place, like we don't actually get to see any other rider show that actually does that a lot, okay? Like, Kamen Rider 5 is the only rider show that carries their driver in a pelican case, something like that, and like they carry it all over the place using the pelican case, but the rest of the driver, the rest of the rider just kind of like took out the driver from somewhere we do not know where, and then they just happen to have the driver on their body. So that is something that I felt like maybe is kind of like a reference to. But speaking of reference, we actually got quite a lot, a dozen of reference in this Kamen Rider Juuga versus Kamen Orteca, and a few that I can immediately think of that is not that straightforward is the end, something like that. That is kind of like the Kamen Rider Eternal Pause, like the thumbs down thing, and also maybe some other stuff. There's quite a lot of reference, but they, I mean, like, even in their dialogue when they meet Rena in this series, we actually get to hear quite a lot of word of play about Full Throttle, Top Gear, something like that. That is all the signature phrase that Kamen Rider Drive people is gonna use, something like that. So speaking of Rena, one thing that I really did not expect is her returning, okay? Like, she returned in the series, and we actually get to see her story moving forward, and we actually got a romantic subplot between Rena and Detective Ota, okay? So Genpachi Ota, did not expect them to be a thing, but then again, Kamen Rider Drive is also the series where we actually get to see the main rider himself getting married to the female lead as well. So that is kind of like to tell us maybe the story about love is very prominent in Drive, something like that, okay? But really amazing stuff. I really love that. And what else, okay? What else do I need to say here? I felt like let me talk about the plot of Kamen Rider Juuga versus Kamen Rider Orteca a little bit, because I felt like this plot that we actually got in this series, it's really interesting. It almost seems like Josh Karizaki himself purposefully created scenario so that he can actually have a chance to henshin, okay? So I don't know, like, I think Josh Karizaki just want to have fun with Orteca and make the world a more busy place, something like that, so that he has a reason to henshin. That is really interesting, okay? Because like, he even admitted to it, like he is the reason why Orteca actually escaped in the first place, okay? So I don't know, really crazy stuff. But one thing that I really did not expect here is the bathhouse that we actually see in all the revised story, something like that. One thing that they did is they use a CG overlay of the bathhouse, and I kind of understand why would they actually do that, because that bathhouse is a legit bathhouse. It is, I'm not so sure whether or not it is in operational now, but that is definitely a movie set, and they cannot use it for the long time. Maybe they are able to book it down that we're gonna use this set as our main set for a year or something like that. But Kamen Rider Juuga and Kamen Rider Orteca is quite an unexpected project for them. They said that if they reach a certain mileage, they're gonna do this. So they're not gonna record it before they reach the mileage. So they're only starting. I think they only recorded this Kamen Rider Juuga versus Kamen Rider Orteca back in last year December, something like that. So maybe by that time the set has been taken down or something like that. But yeah, that is just kind of like an idea that I have, something like that, on why do they actually use the CG buff house. But speaking of a really like what am I trying to say? Yeah, I wanted to talk about how this Kamen Rider Juuga and Kamen Rider Orteca is being shot quite recently, and even though it has been shot quite recently and we still got Hana Natsuki in the series itself, it would actually mean that all of the drama, all of the news surrounding our girl Aguilera is not gonna affect her career that much, okay? And she does say that she wants to go back to voice acting, if not mistaken, but we still get to see her as Natsuki Hana here and there in the Kamen Rider series, in the Kamen Rider franchise. And I believe in the future we are definitely gonna get a girls remix really soon. After maybe Kamen Rider gets finished, we are gonna get another girls remix with Neon Kurama, Sarah, and maybe even Sumori itself. We do not know what is gonna happen, but these are all kind of like hinting at us that Girls Remix will return and Natsuki Hana is gonna return as well. It is not gonna affect her career that much. But with that being said, that is all from me. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you think about this Kamen Rider Juuga versus Kamen Rider Orteca? Do you enjoy it? Do you love it? And yeah, let's talk in the comment section below, because I felt like this Kamen Rider Juuga versus Kamen Rider Orteca is really like a fan letter. It is not meant to be taken too seriously, but it's more like I just want to see them fight, something like that. So that is all. Hope you enjoy, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Goodbye.